Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today I want to show you this amazing first gameplay that I had in the Soviet destroyer, the Frunze. When you look at the ship, it doesn't really look all that promising, but it turns out that it is actually pretty effective. And I wanted to show you how I played it in my very first battle. The ship is nearly stock, but I invested a few golden eagles in the shrapnel ammunition, and also obviously into the fire prevention equipment and the repair. So that is the Frunze, and you can see, maybe you can't see it, the turret rotation on those four 102mm guns is very bad. It is stock, it is by default also not very fast, and this is how you have to play around it. But thankfully, as we'll see later on, the back turrets, the two back turrets are 360 degrees rotatable, so that reduces a full rotation if you have to actually switch sides. So I actually want to go into cover at first. The first onslaught is really bad always, so I'm even right from the start in a direct firefight with the enemy destroyers, and that is nasty. So hooray for a Gaijin map design. Those closed beta and also open beta maps, they are just horrible. I cannot stop banging on about this because it is, you know, your spawn determines how the rest of the battle can go. This is how bad it is. So there is already one destroyer coming our way, looks like a Clemson, and yeah, we shoot HE at him. Now I switch to the shrapnels, I try them out, since he is preoccupied with some of our other destroyers. But the damage output when I hit him, it is not really that great, but he has lost quite a bit of crew actually, 1/3, now he is down to under 60%, and yeah, I deal a bit of damage, but now I want to switch to HE after the salvo, I guess. So I try to stick here with my team, I try to support them as good as I can, but I'm definitely not a first line ship. I leave this to other ships that have more DPM, that are bigger, that have the shrapnel protection, especially the premium destroyers. And now I want here to play with the thought of helping here the PR-159 in a gunfight with whatever it fights. He has such a much better DPM, better gun handling, everything. So I hope that I can support him, but I'm not quite sure how much I can help him. So here I try to reduce the speed, then I try to get back on it again, and then he got type 1934-8. So I'm now thinking to myself, nope, I don't want to have to do anything with a German destroyer that has 5 128mm guns, potentially with base fuse HE, and you know, just a better rate of fire. I simply don't want to play on his terms, I don't want to risk it, so I actually turn around, and this is where the good 360 degree rotating back turrets come in handy, because I already can fire with 3 guns already. And we can see the damage is not too bad. He's down to under 40% crew. So the next time I can engage him, I know that I should focus on the backside of him. Situational awareness is very important, and there are some patrol boats in the open. Let's try if we can support our patrol boats, if we can protect the B cap and also kill them before eventually they launch their torpedoes. Talking about torpedoes, always have a lookout on those white lines that indicate that our torpedoes are coming your way. Especially if a destroyer is parking behind an island and just shoots, a PT boat can just launch a single torpedo, and because you're not moving, it's very easy to hit with that torpedo. There we can see already the 2 torpedoes coming my way, so I'm reversing a little bit, but that again puts me into harm's way, because that Type 1934A thinks about coming out and play with some of our destroyers. So first salvo on the front section because I cannot shoot the back section already. Then I remember, okay, the front is quite saturated, 28%. Can we actually hit here the back section? I still fire only with 3 guns, because one of the guns, the middle one, actually has not the greatest firing arcs. So 18%, and now I want the kill. You know, to kill a much better destroyer is always pretty nice. 12%. Come on, come on. So here the hider is actually blocking the way. I guess it's an hider. Can we get the kill? Yes, there we go. So I protected the hider here just for a moment, but then out of the grave, maybe there was a shell still in the air, but the Type 1934A actually kills him. And then the torpedoes go by, so then I can maneuver again. Now the first plane is coming in, and that is not great. The anti-aircraft of the Frunze is not that amazing. We're talking here about a single back gun, a 76mm Leander AA gun, 145mm 21K, and 2, well, 50 caliber machine guns. Now there is another ship coming in. He fires with 3 turrets, so that tells me that it's not the British one. Come on, now I want to gun him down. Now I fire with 4 guns. Let's hit the front section again. Let's see if we can bring his crew down. Now the funny thing is here about the island arrangement, because I can fire at him, but he can't fire at me, and then we actually hit the ammo rack on this ship. So that is already amazing. 3 kills are 3 kills more than I expected already in the game. And as you can see by the length of the video, there is still more to come. So, how did I play? I dragged my feet. I was not first in line. I did not go into an open gun duel. I was a bit lucky that the enemies didn't focus me from the very beginning, so I actually had the chance of getting into cover. This is very important. Hint hint for map design, hint hint. Now, while there are no enemy destroyers to shoot, let's have a look into the patrol boat area. And there is a little ship, and it is 3.5 kilometers away. So let's correct here constantly the aim. If I hit him directly, I can deal some damage for sure. I want to switch target, and one of the shells that is in the air actually ammo racks here the D3, or hull breaks him, whatever. I tried to hit here some of those big American 110, 165 feet gunboats that are really devastating for normal patrol boats, smaller ones, because they can absorb quite a lot of damage. They are difficult to completely destroy, and they also either field a 76mm in the front or a 40mm Bofors. Either way, that's not really that healthy for your patrol boats. So when you are not a first line ship or a vanguard in this respect, then just try to stay a little bit back, try to give fire support. You have 4 guns, and they are not bad. They are definitely not bad. And if you manage to hit your enemies, like with this salvo, this can happen. Beautiful. That's already an ace. So yes, there was a bit of luck, but you can see the positioning is here very important. I'm not any use dead to my team, so I try to stay alive. Again, I try to give here fire support. Good aim gets rewarded. And if you kill 1 or 2 of the enemy destroyers, that's always good. So I'm at the moment distracted here by the IL-2. Aircrafts are always dangerous, especially we will see this later on. I get a critical hit in, and I even fire with my main guns at him. And this is where I accelerate, and I miss all my shots, but the IL-2 is mortally wounded. So now I'm actually going for the open water, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, now I need to support the 2 destroyers that you kind of see in the minimap that are in front of me. I try to slow down here for the patrol boats, but I will never stop before I will pass here the gap between the islands. There is the first grey box, and that's the Type 1924. That is actually a pretty good starter destroyer for the Germans, because the guns are excellent and it is at least fast. And then there are 2 more destroyers, and one of them turns actually out to be a USS Sumner, so that is not good. That is definitely not good. So we gun down here the enemy Type 1924 to 30%. Then I focus here on the other one because he gets actually behind the island. And I think to myself, well, what can we do? They are angled. Maybe use here the shrapnels. In hindsight, I should have used here HE. Nothing but HE. I have to experiment a little bit more around with the shrapnel. Currently it looks like it cuts down crew quite efficiently, but the modules don't get damaged, and in this respect higher caliber HE seems to be still more useful. And there you can see one of the oddities: the shrapnel shells actually explode above the 1924, so that confuses the hell out of me. The IL-2 goes down, giving me yet another kill, the 6th kill, which is, I guess, not that much common. Now the Type 1924 is close enough that we actually land also the shrapnel shells, and with that HE salvo, before he effectively can return fire, we kill him. So now I have actually the high explosive loaded, and I make the drastic mistake of again switching here to shrapnel. It was my first game, I don't have too much experience with the shrapnels, and then we actually penetrate here on the USS Sumner, the turrets. You can see I'm actively aiming for them, as I mentioned numerous times in the review. Now I switch to HE, and look at this, the first salvo disables both turrets. The first one with direct hits, the second one with splashes. I already want to go for the second one. He's down to 60% crew. I hit the front 45%, and I aim here for the rear turret. 42% crew. Come on, another salvo before he can bring the gun on me, and we take him out. So he only had 1 salvo. I still have quite a lot of crew. I'm still fully combat efficient, and one of the best destroyers in game gets gunned down in 1 versus 1 by a Frunze. But that means I did not watch where I'm going, so I beached. This is already my 8th kill. That's quite awesome. And then so it begins with planes. The first plane comes in and tries to hit me with rockets. He disables one of my turrets and my torpedo launchers that I actually emptied in the very beginning, so I don't get torpedo ammo wrecked, if you know what I mean. I don't really consider torpedoes an active weapon, more like you know, just dump them into the general direction and hope for your best, but at best you get rid of them so you don't get ammo wrecked. Because this is how I actually get sometimes some strange kills. With the first salvo, you hit the torpedo tubes, they explode, and you get a kill. A kill that you should have worked much harder, and you kind of didn't deserve, but this is how the game works. So this is now a Fletcher class, it seems like, and he's really dangerous. But funnily enough, I still have quite enough penetration to also go through the anti-fragmentation armor, and we'll see later on that it actually will not help him that much. So we get some non-decisive hits in, and I try to get into island. I'm currently not feeling that comfortable. I want to get into cover, but now he actually hits one of my screws, and that reduces my speed drastically. But then a good salvo in the back of the ship reduces him to just over 60% crew. Now I actually taste some blood. 50% crew. We're almost there. There's another destroyer from my team that tries to help me. Now let's aim for the middle section where there is still a lot of crew, well, left. That was the wrong section, but you can see the immense damage those rather small shells do. So this is kind of a very, very surprising aspect. Recently I played a lot of ships with either the proximity fuse or the base fuse for the Germans, and they don't seem to hit that hard compared to normal HE. This might be rightfully so. And it is good news for everybody that has to grind for all the ammunition types himself, that the stock ammunition is still very valuable. But I think I have to experiment a little bit more with it to actually fully understand it, to know all the details. So far it's just, you know, aim at the various different sections, try to deal as much damage as possible, either go for the Oryx or try to go for a crew knockout. I don't fancy here my chances going for an Oryx at a Fletcher class at this distance. Because I'm reversing, I constantly misfire, because I'm not giving enough distance. So with manual correction, let's give more distance. He actually has beached himself as well. And now we correct our aim and we get in some hits. Let's aim for the back section of the ship. 5%, he's down to 5%. Come on, aim for the back. Another hit, 4%. So even in the black sections there seem to be a bit more crew left. And then another good hit on one of the gun turrets gives me now my 8th ship kill. And 1 air kill. 9 kills. So that's amazing. The question is now, of course, what do I do next? Now, I think it looks good for our team. The rest of the team have actually profited from my killing of the enemy destroyers. And they have captured A and B. Now there is still some fighting going on, but I think to myself, if I can at least even decap C, this will bring my team faster to victory, or we are safer from any sort of, how should I say it, surprises. So now the difficult and dangerous journey begins into cover, because again the sea is here very open. Now the problem here with the map design is the following. You need open water for the big ships like the cruisers and the, you know, destroyers with many guns, with high DPM, with armor, you name it, so they can shoot each other. I don't want here a map design full of islands, but the pure fact that you can instantly shoot into the enemy's spawn when you spawn, and the other way around, is kind of broken. Especially since now the cruisers can spawn with the destroyer spawn. So on this map it can happen that the first thing that you see and the last thing that you see is a KMS Emden that just completely obliterates your team. Good luck trying to gun down that animal. So I have some footage already in the Emden on this map. Har har har. I was so good, yeah. So despite here getting some good hits into the Fletcher, I don't fancy my chances, because I have lost a considerable amount of crew and this would be a direct gunfight. So that's not really in my favor. Already I have been beaten up by some other destroyers, as I just mentioned, and maybe I then have run out of luck at some point. And there I write it in chat, I cannot win the fight versus the Fletcher. I write it in chat for the rest of the team. You can see now A is kind of, yeah, decapped by the enemy, but not capped. And we have a massive points lead. So I have to do something. I cannot hide for the rest of the game. The problem is that the Fletcher actually is very, very good at gunning down aircraft. 40mm Bofors, fast turning main gun turrets, lots of them with proximity fuse. So going near a Fletcher class or an American destroyer in general is kind of not the best thing that you can do. So I try to fire here even with the main guns at this aggressing aircraft. Let's hope that the LA-5 and the BF-109 can deal with him. I have here the problem that my main guns were elevated, and so the Fletcher gets the first salvo off, but he misses. I don't miss though, and I get some serious hits in, but from 73% with my rate of fire compared to his rate of fire, no. And out of all the things that could happen, I actually get bombed here by a BF-110 C7. I absolutely hate aircraft. I hate aircraft like there is no tomorrow. They absolutely ruin some of the greatest games that I've ever had in ships, because YOLO! Bomb, rocket, kamikaze attack, you name it. And this is just so dumb, so brutal. I cannot tell you how much I hate it. Nevertheless, I now picked the Project 183 Bolshevik, and it is a goddamn good ship. I absolutely love it. I have to make a separate video about it because this short battle scene will not give this ship justice. You can actually go into a direct firefight with a Jaguar and can expect to come out on top of it if the Jaguar doesn't play properly. Two 25mm double turrets deal a serious amount of damage, and everything that gets in its sight actually receives a paddling, as long as it isn't a destroyer or one of the other Russian armored river patrol boats. So obviously I have no destroyer to spawn. The funny thing is the Fletcher actually made a critical mistake in killing me near C. Now he has to turn around in order to go to B and capture it. But there is yet another plane in the air. I do not fire at him at long range. I'd rather drop here my depth charges. Yes, I damage here myself a little bit, but I didn't lose any crew, and 3 seconds of repair and I'm fine again. And I wanted to cap, but obviously now he sees me and I try to fire away. Come on, we get a good hit in, we get a critical hit in. Can we destroy him? Yes, but obviously it's a plane, so YOLO. And I'm dead. So already I'm not amused. 2 out of my 2 deaths were with aircraft. I wonder how this continues with the G5. I pick it because it's a small target and I can try to sneak into A. And I totally didn't see the aircraft coming. So I actually write it in chat, and just as I write the first words, yeah, another BF 110. Is there anything else but getting killed by aircraft? Like seriously, it's named Ship RB, not Get Killed by Aircraft While Sailing Ships RB. Would be kind of a long title, but nevertheless. So to make a long story short, I had to rely on a friendly S100, Dimas AMG. Dimas AMG actually saved this game for me. He had to deal with numerous attacking aircraft. But the funny thing is, aircraft versus S100, you know, with a Wirbelwind in the back of the turret. Yeah, or a back turret, which is a Wirbelwind, and a 30mm and a double 20mm. That's some serious anti-aircraft. And there is not a single plane in the game that says, it's just an S100. So 36,000 silver lines and 5,666 evil modification research points. Most of them go into the Frunze, and we also get a good chunk out of the PR206. First in team, 2,882 score points, 14,000 ship damage. That was a very intense battle, and I wanted to show it to you how to play a stock ship and also how to maximize everything that there is, and also to watch out for aircraft. So this is what I actually bought for Golden Eagles, but I didn't have to buy here the shrapnels or the armor piercing here for the secondary gun, but the tool set and the fire protection system are mandatory still. That's it for me today. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like, give it, subscribe if you want to see more. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this battle, what do you think about my playstyle, if this is something that you can also use, or what are your tips and tricks. So again, that's it for me, and we'll see each other in the skies, on the battlefields, and on the waves of War Thunder.